Well, today, like I said, is Vision Sunday, and so what I wanted to do is kind of catch you up on what we've accomplished since we had our last Vision Sunday, which was right after Easter, the very top of April. And so there were some things that we kind of set out before us that we were wanting to do, that we were wanting to accomplish as a church. And so behind me here, Zay, if we can put up that screen, it's got the little circles on there. That's it right there. And so some of the things that we wanted to accomplish was some new giving goals, some missions goals, more people added to our serve team, more people coming each and every Sunday. And so since April, I wanted to kind of share with you where we're at with some of those things. At the beginning of the year for January, our average attendance was around 61 people. And as of last Sunday, our average attendance is around like 85 people. So we've grown even over the summer, which is really cool. We have had year-to-date 156 families, people visit with us here at the church. And since this past August, some weeks ago, was our 1-year anniversary since we had launched the church. And we've seen over 241 people visit the church over the last year, which is awesome. This one I'm most excited about because this is why we're here doing what we're doing is year to date, just since January, we've seen 91, almost 100 people get saved and receive Christ as their Lord. So, hey, let's give it up for that. Since we launched, almost 150 people have got born again, are now going to heaven because Story Church exists, because you're here, because you're a part of it, and you're investing into it. And then we had a goal for our serve team to be at 60, was our goal to try to be at before the end of the year. And so we are at 48 people, around 48 people, almost 50 people on our serve team. So let's give it up for all of our serve team. On top of that, we've seen a number of people get involved in groups, whether it was this semester that's about to kick off, and I guess in another week or so. I think it's the week of the 22nd. I've been getting my dates mixed up a little bit lately. Too much kids football going on, so, it's all that we can do to keep up with all the dates with the kiddos. So if I say a wrong date, just forgive me, pray for your pastor. But we have had a lot of people involved in groups and community since we started this past year as well, and so really excited about all that God has done so far for that. Some of the new things that we wanted to do, though, that we mentioned during the last Vision Sunday was that we wanted to do something called like welcome dinners or welcome lunches where it was easier for people to get connected faster here at the church. So you got a lot of new people coming in. You want to make it easy for them to get connected, find community, find relationships, all these different things. And so we've got to do a welcome dinner. We did a dinner up here one night. We did a welcome lunch after a service a couple months ago. And so we've seen, I think, at least, 10 to 12 new families get involved just from doing those, which is really cool. So that's something that we're going to continue to do as well. One of the things that we wanted to do also is we knew that as we grow as a church, we need to have more leaders in the church, right? And so you need more than me just running around here doing all kinds of stuff, and Pastor Hope and some of our serve team. You need leaders in place as you continue to grow. Even Jesus, he had the disciples, right? What were the disciples? They were leaders taking care of business as he was going around ministering to people. And so we've been able to start a few more small groups because we had some leaders step up and lead groups. And so since this summer and this semester, we've got 3 new leaders, 3 new groups that have kicked off. So let's give it up for our new leaders for that. Also, our serve team goal, like I mentioned, was to be at 60, and so we're not too far from that. One of the things that had been on our heart for a while is we're a church, right? And so we'd like to have a serve team that's a prayer team for people to come down and pray after service. And so we started that a couple weeks ago. Last Sunday, I forgot to mention it. And so, you know what? Our prayer team was like, I guess I'll pray for myself today. And so that's okay too. But my wonderful wife is closing out service today, and she will not forget. Trust me on that. So, but we wanted to make it available. People come into this place because they have spiritual needs. They got stuff. They got life that's going on. And so we want people to be able to come into this place and receive prayer. So we were able to start a serve team. We were able to put a few new leaders in place for our serve teams. But also beyond that, we wanted to start doing more with our giving as a church. We've been able to support some different ministries up to this point, but there was a ministry that was kind of near and dear to us called Club 1040. And Club 1040 is a ministry where they have missions organizations set up all around what's called the 1040 window, which is the most unreached people group area of the entire world. And so they have things set up in Lebanon. They have things set up in Africa. They've got an amazing ministry. And so we were able to start supporting them soon after that, monthly. And I actually had an opportunity to talk with the leader of their organization, Matt Beamer. And he called and he said, you know what, I saw that Story Church started supporting us. I just want to say a big thank you to them. Thank you guys for being a part, sowing into what we're doing here. And he said, you know what, it's so amazing that you guys are a new church. You're a year old and you're already supporting missions. It's so incredible. And so he just wanted to express his gratitude. And we're so thankful for you guys as well, because we get to be a part of a great ministry like that and all the harvest that they're seeing in their ministry as well. Our financial goal, we're a new church, right? So if you've ever seen a new business or a new startup, you realize that you've got some goals financially that you want to meet, because you've got expenses, you've got things you want to do, and all that kind of stuff. And so our goal is to start bringing in, before the end of the year, $10,000 more a month than what we were bringing in. And so right now we've made some progress on that. We've got about $7,000 more to go, but we've made a $3,000 increase since April. So thank you guys for being so generous, for being a part of that. You might say, well, what I give doesn't feel like it's a lot. Trust me when I say every gift matters, okay? It matters to the church, and most of all, it matters to the Lord that you're being generous as well. And one of the things we also mentioned before was, to kind of wrap up during the last Vision Sunday, was, okay, we're meeting in the school, we're a portable church. Everybody always asks the question, have you guys thought about looking for a building? And I always just want to be like, oh my gosh. If you ask me that question, this is not directed towards you, it's towards somebody else, but I'm just like, that's such an incredible thought. We should move into a building where we do not have to set up anything. I've not thought of it yet up to this point. I've been here 2 years, and it's never crossed my mind. But thank you so much for being led by the Spirit to come up to me and say, you guys should really look at getting a building. And I'm like, thank you for sharing the amazing wisdom. And so if you're one of those people and you leave the church after today, we love you. I'm sorry. But the reason I laugh about that is because we've actually been looking for a space for about 2 years now, and come close on some spaces and that type of thing. And so we're still on the hunt for that. We got to find the right building for the right price. And in the Portland Metro, if you know anything about commercial leasing, over 93% of commercial spaces are already leased. So we need to find the right one that God has for us. And so I believe that He will do that. But as I was praying about vision for the rest of this year, and as we get into the beginning of next year, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I wanted to get up here and say, you know what? We found a building, and it's so easy to do a Vision Sunday and say, you know what? We're moving into this space, and like everybody's, yeah, right, and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I wanted to be able to do that. And so I honestly, as pastor, kind of struggled. I'm like, all right, well, I want to tell people what's next. And Lord, I have some things on my mind and on my heart. But I went on a walk. Sometimes you just really hear from God whenever you walk, right? Notice I didn't say I went on a run, because Pastor Ryan doesn't run unless something's chasing him, okay? I did Orange Theory for a while, and I quit that, okay? Because I'm like, this is too much running for me. But I began to pray about it, and I got a word from the Lord. But before I share that, I want to share the scripture in Habakkuk, or however you say it, chapter 2, verse 2 through 3. It's in the English Standard Version. It says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time and hastens to its end, and it will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. Our mission as a church is to help people find God in their story. And so our vision as a church is to continue to do something much greater into the future. But you got to have an immediate vision for what's next, what's out in front of you personally, right, for your family, for a church, and all these different things. You've got to have direction for what's next that the Lord's got for you. And so as I began to pray about that, I went on this walk. And I found a bench. Thank the Lord for that, right? The Lord sees and He provides, right? I said, I'm tired of walking already in this seat. Let me find somewhere to sit so I can really press into the Spirit, right? And so I began to just pray. And the Lord dropped this phrase in my heart. And this is the word that He gave me. He said, it's time to turn a house into a home. And I was like, okay, Lord. I said, what do you mean by that? I knew exactly what He meant by that. He said, it's time to turn the school where we meet on Sundays from a house to a home. While we'll continue to look for a space and God will have it at the right time, the Lord really just dealt with me about this. And before we moved out here, we had sold our house in Mississippi. our wonderful house. I wish we could have just picked it up and brought it here because things are more expensive here. But anyway, right, than it is in Mississippi. And so we had sold our house and we got into a rental house. And because we needed to be ready to buy something whenever we moved out here, and we're trying to time it perfect. And so we barely found a rental house. It was right when the market was just super hot. Everything's rented up and all that kind of stuff. And so thankfully, I think I had COVID during that time, and Hope found a house, and she just really stepped up and, took control and got everything done. And so I was not much help with that. But anyway, a story for another day. But we got into a rental house. Thankfully, it was a good little rental house. But that rental house, and there was one thing about it, and that was this, is I didn't want to do anything to that house that I did not have to. Do you know why? Because I did not own that house, and I knew I was going to be there for a short amount of time. Right? I cut the grass because in the contract, you got to cut the grass. But if I didn't have to cut the grass, I probably wouldn't cut it that often. We didn't hang up no pictures. We didn't do anything. We weren't trying to decorate. We weren't trying to make this house a home. Why? Because we knew this is not where we're going to be for much longer. We're about to move and go into something else. And when we find that place, we'll make it home. We'll get the furniture in the right place. We'll get the pictures on the wall. We'll get everything how it needs to be where it just feels like home. Whenever you're in a hotel, it doesn't feel like home, right? It is nice if you get room service and things like that and you're in one of those nice hotels, but it doesn't feel like home. It's just simply somewhere you're occupying for a temporary time. And the Lord spoke to this. He said, it's time to turn the school from a house into a home. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, Lord, I know that you're smarter than me, but I would much rather you say, Ryan, I've got a space right around the corner for you. Just hold tight, whatever it might be. And I had wrestled with this honestly since we started the church and planted. I just wanted to just move right into a building. It's so much easier to do that, right? And I'm like, Lord, you're mighty, you're great. Just go ahead and provide that, all that kind of stuff, right? And the Lord spoke to me and he said, would you rather be in a building with half my blessing or be in the school with my full blessing? When the Lord asks you questions, he knows the answer to it, by the way. He's not asking because he needs us to, give him some advice on anything. He's the God of heaven and earth and the entire universe. But so would you rather be there somewhere else because it would be easier or this or that and have half my blessing if I want my full blessing on the school? Like there's a reason that I have you guys there for right now. And I was like, well, Lord, I would rather have your full blessing. I'm not about trying to get half of what you have for me. And so he just spoke to me. He's like, it's time to make the church that you see in your heart in a building. See, for me, it's easily to visualize and have vision for like, okay, we're in a space, here's what it would look like. You can picture where this would be and what it would look like and all that. He said, it's time for you to create what you see in your heart, the church that you say, this is what we would do, this is what it would look like if you're in a building. He said, it's time for you to do that in the school. And so I knew exactly what the Lord meant about that. As far as making a house a home. And to be honest with you, I've got great peace about it and excitement about it because up until that point, we have done different things and changed things up here at the school to kind of do this and do that. But realizing we might be in a building pretty soon, we didn't want to invest into it too much because, it's like, why buy it here if you're going to have to go buy it there? And if you buy something for here, it may not fit there just right, all that kind of stuff, right? And so, anyway, he spoke to me, he said, it's time for you to start making this place what you see in your heart here at the school. And so I wanted to just take a moment with you and share with you about the church that we see, the church that I see in my heart, the church that we're going to become here at Wood School until God's got the right space for us. That this is a part of the vision. This is where we're heading. This is what we want to accomplish. You see, our values here at the church are for people to find God, to find community, to find purpose, and to find fulfillment. And that's exactly what I want to see people be able to do when they come through these doors. Whether they accept Christ for the very first time or you've been walking with the Lord for 30 years, 40 years, whatever it might be. And so this is what I see in my heart. I see a place, I see a home here where kids and youth love coming because there's a class that is spiritually impactful and fun. If you've got kids or you got friends that got kids and you want to invite them to church, you know what kids are looking for when they come to church? They are not looking for the Bible verse to begin with, right? They're looking to see with their friends, they're looking to have fun. And so I see a place here in my heart where the kids come in here and they're getting impacted spiritually, but they have so much fun that they're begging their parents to come to church on Sunday. I see a place that during worship where our hands are raised and God's presence is so strong in here that people's lives are being transformed right there in their seats during that time. That God is speaking to them in those moments. That there are tears in your eyes at moments because you sense the presence of God so strongly in that moment. That is what I want to see us continue to work towards as we're here. We've got our team and people playing and singing. That is the church that I see, myself included, whether you're in the second row or the last row, that we are so change in God's presence in this place that it doesn't matter if all these wonderful people that like to walk around and stare in the glass while we have church, that God's presence will be so strong in this place that they'll just find themselves coming in here from the soccer field. That is the house that I see here in this place. I see a house where the message challenges you to grow, that you do not come into this place just so your ears can be tickled and just go out and live just like you were living. Me live like I was living. I want to come into this place and this be a home where people are challenged, that I don't tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what God speaks to you and declares in His Word. I see a home here where you can't wait to invite your friends and your family and other people. And to be honest with you, there's some of you probably say, you know what, I'd love to invite my friends, my family at church, and some of you guys have, and that's wonderful, but you probably have had the thought, you know, if things were a little bit more, or this was a little bit more, then I think I would be even more excited to invite my friends to Story Church. Maybe that's just in my head, but I think that's probably a little bit of the case sometimes. But I see a place where you're like, I love this church so much. I love what's going on so much. I love the worship. I love what they have for my kids. I love the message. I love what's going on here. I love the community, my friends so much that I cannot wait to tell other people about it. That is the house that I see here. I see a house where you can find community and relationships, not just on Sundays. That this is good, but we can go so much deeper together. They call them small groups for a reason, because they're small, right? You can go deeper, faster with a small group of people and have God continue to grow you and grow me in relationship with other people. That I see a home and a place where you discover your purpose and you use your gifts to serve other people. That I talk to so many Christians on a regular basis and they say, I've got no idea what my purpose is. That I haven't even scratched at it. I have maybe some glimpse of it, but I have no idea. I don't even know where to start. And friend, can I tell you that the church is designed to be a home, to be a house for you to come into here where you can begin to discover your purpose and serve God and serve your church family and serve new people coming in here. And as you're faithful with that, God begins to unlock more of your plan and the purpose for your life. You'll never talk me out of it because that's exactly what God did in my life. That I see a home here. That you begin to become discipled. But you just don't stop there. You begin to disciple other people. I was thinking about this driving to church this morning. That we have such wonderful people here at Story Church. And people have brought friends and people have brought family and all these things. And it's been incredible. And I don't like to embarrass people, but I'm going to embarrass somebody. Well, if you know them. But we've got Rod here in the front row. And I was thinking about Rod's family. That him and Suzanne, they've been coming to the church, and they've invited their daughter to come to church, and she has got saved, and she is back there serving in the kids' ministry today, that he's being discipled, but he is also helping disciple his family and people that he loves and people he cares about, that is the home that I see here. I don't want a church where people just simply come in here and you're like, I got what I got, and I don't care about them. That I got what I got, and we had like our little pleasantries, like, how was your day? How was your week? Okay, and we're going to do this next Sunday. There's no depth to relationship. I don't want a house. I want a home here at Story Church where we love each other. We're here for each other. We have community with each other. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter whether you're in the building there or you're in the building there. It is that we are the church. And that is where it begins, that I see a place that if I close my eyes and I start from Wilsonville Road and I see in my heart what I want to see this church look like, where it begins to feel like home, Is if I close my eyes, I see not one flag at the front entrance, but I see a number of flags where it says different things as people come in. So they begin to sense what we are about, who we are, and our values before they get to the front door, that they're not confused to be like, do I come in this entrance or this entrance? That we got enough stuff at both entrances as people come in. I see a church where we've got a parking team out there. Not because people can't figure out how to park, but they're greeted in the parking lot, right? That they begin to feel at home to begin with. I see a church where we've got our amazing greeters there and they're coming in. And there's energetic music, not here, but there's there. And it's energetic music in our youth, in our kids area, that there's an energy about what we're doing here. I see a church where we have delicious coffee, right? That we have an exciting kids ministry. Serve team connecting with each other, new people, powerful worship, a life-changing message, and people at the end of every single week raising their hand, making decisions for Christ. Just like all that we've seen so far this year. I see a church that is growing and reaching more people. That a place that people have the resources to grow, just not when they're here in the building, but a place where it's easy to get connected. That I see a place where the sick can be prayed for and be healed. We are a home where we believe in the power of God. And if you don't believe in that, we're not the church for you. Because if you've walked with God for any length of time, you know His power, you know His love, and you know He still does miracles. That I see a home where addictions are broken, that forgiveness flows, and the lost are saved every single week. I don't want to be a part of a church, and I don't want to pastor a church that doesn't see the lost saved consistently. Otherwise, we're a teaching center and we're a spiritual country club. And you know what? I don't like to golf, so sorry. That I see a home and not just a house here at the church, at the school, rather. So you might say, that sounds great. How are we going to do this? What are some things that we can do? Well, for this place to go from a house to a home, we want to improve some things, right? God takes us from faith to faith, from glory to glory. In our lives and in His church, nothing's meant to stay the same. We're meant to move forward, to increase, to see God do more, and to reach more, and so on and so forth. And so we want to do some new things in order to make this place feel more like a home. And so we're going to put some slides up here as I kind of talk some of these things. One of the things is we want people to be able to get connected fast here at the church. And so we're going to be doing a church app that we're going to be releasing. It should be in the next month or so, where you can watch messages, you can give, you can keep up with events, you can keep up with things a lot faster here at the church and know what's going on so you can be a part of it. One of the things that we want to do new is that we want to refresh our coffee area and make it even better. And so we've got a little picture. It might be kind of hard to see, but we want to refresh our coffee area and our lobby area too. Because we bought all this stuff that we bought because a year and a half ago we were in a lease in a building and about to move in, and we started making purchases for it and ended up having the city come back. And anyway, we won't get into all that today. But they said, just kidding, you're going to have to spend a lot more money. And so we said, yeah, well, this is not for us then. And so we've made do with different things and put different things up that, but you know, as a portable church, you have a lot of wear and tear. And so we want it to look uniform. We want it to look excellent. We want it to look fresh. We want it to look inviting, because you know what people look for more than anything when they come into a church, a restaurant, or a place to shop? They're looking for one thing to decide whether they come back again. What that one thing is this, is they just want to feel comfortable. If I feel comfortable here, I will come back. And the way that we feel comfortable when we go into a place is it excellent? And so we want to refresh some of these things so it can be more uniform and new excellent. From the inside to the outside, we want to refresh our exterior signs and things like that. You might say, signs look fine to me, Pastor Ryan. Well, you know what? We have some flags out there, just for example, right now. And Karen right here, she is so amazing. These flags have ripped so many times that she has sewn them over and over. So it's time to refresh some of the things that we have, because they take a beating as a portable church. But we also, one of the things we want to start doing is on Sundays have a consistent monthly or bi-monthly welcome lunch, or a membership class where people can come in and do it during Sunday mornings and not have to come back at night as well. Another thing that we want to do new is to upgrade our lighting. You guys see some of this lighting here. This is some of what we're doing. One of the questions we get, or the assumptions people make a lot, is that everything that is here is already at the school. Wouldn't that be a dream come true, right? Every single thing you see, other than the chairs you're sitting in, comes in and it goes out every single week. And so we want to make worship as great as we can, from the musicians to the singers to the atmosphere that we're setting with different things like that. So we're already working on some of that as well. One of the new things we want to do is for our elementary. So if you got elementary age or you got family with elementary age, right now if you go back into our kids area, we have amazing next-gen volunteers. But for us to grow as a church, our space has to grow for we have our elementary age. And so one of the things that we want to do is we're going to bring our first through fifth grade, our elementary age, into the gym area there and use half of that. And so we're going to be buying new games and new rugs and new banners, all that kind of stuff set up where it is super fun for our elementary age to go into church and have fun, where they cannot wait to go in there. You might say, how do you know if you're going to make it fun, Pastor Ryan? Well, if you've got an elementary age kid and they go to school, there is something called a gaga ball pit. Does anybody know what that is? No, just me. Anyway, the kids love it like candy, church. But it's a game that they love to play. It's on every recess and playground. So we're going to get an inflatable one of those, big Connect 4, all kinds of stuff like that. And so they're going to have an awesome time in elementary. And so we want to do that. Plus, they need more space. Right now, if we have around 8, maybe 10 tops in our elementary space, that's about all the space they have, and then they have to turn around and walk the other way. They just need more space to run around and be kids. For our youth, for our student ministry, we wanted to buy some new games and do some upgrades for that and do like a pop-a-shop, ping pong table, some video games where before and after the message, they can have fun hanging out with friends and enjoy church where it's a little bit of fun mixed in there as well. And then lastly, one of the new things that we want to do is this. We want to start supporting a new missionary. And so I want to share with you a little bit about this missionary. These are some friends of ours. This is Brian and Natalia Butler. And so they are planning a church in Querétaro. I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I'm saying it wrong, Charlie knows. I probably just said it wrong. But anyway, we are starting to support a church monthly that is getting planted in November. And so we're excited to be able to start doing that. They're starting as a church plant, but then also they're going to begin to do a Christian school there as well. And so really amazing ministry, really amazing people. At some point, I know they'll come visit and you'll get to see them there. But how do we turn the school from a house to a home? Yes, we add new things and different things like that. But most importantly, what I want to challenge us all with is this. I'll talk about it a little bit in a roundabout way next week as well, is that together is how we do it. That we come together and we invest our time, our talent, and our treasure. If you come to this church, you're not going to come here long before you have an invitation to get involved somewhere doing something. And the reason that's important to me is this, is people need to take next steps spiritually, whether you want to or not. It's good for you. It's scriptural. But secondly is this, is that a church full of people that are just looking to get something and not give something creates a consumer-driven church. And as Christians, we're meant to be generous and to serve, and that's how we are leaders, is we find what God has given us and we pour it out and we give it to other people and we show the love of God and we show generosity and we help people and we pray with people and we serve people and we use our gifts to be able to bless people so that they can see God in us. If we don't do that, we're just simply just consumers saying, come here, did I like the music, did I like the message, did it do it for me this week? That is not Christianity at all. But we want to be a home and not just a house. A home is where contributors will make this house a home. That you're using your time, that you're using your talent, that you're using your treasure to get involved here at Story Church. Because I really believe that all of us, we have a role and a goal whenever we're a part of a church family. It's not just being a part of a church, but we are a part of a church family. And any of you guys remember whenever you were growing up and it was like time to do spring cleaning? Did anybody have any fond memories of that? Just me? Okay. I guess my mom was the only one that cleaned house. That sounds good. But if you had some brothers and sisters, everybody had to do something, right? We have our boys help out every single week with different chores. And you know what frustrates them the fastest more than anything is when they're like, why isn't he doing anything? Oh, I hear that every week. I'm doing this. Why is he not doing anything? He should be helping. He's a part of this family. Why is his job not as hard as mine? And it just goes on and on. And really, it's a great point because when you're a part of a family, if this is not just a house to you, but this is a home to you, that God has called you to be in this place and a part of this vision, you should invest your time. You should invest your talent by serving. You should invest your treasure in some sort of capacity. In Ephesians 4:16, it says that he makes his whole body fit together perfectly as each part does its own special work. It helps the other parts grow so that the whole body is healthy and growing full of love. The Passions Translation says it like this. It says, for his body, Christ's body, me and you, the church, it says, has been formed in his image and is closely joined together and constantly connected as one. Every member has been given divine gifts to contribute to the growth of all. I'm going to say that again. Every member has been given divine gifts to contribute to the growth of all. And as these gifts operate effectively throughout the whole body, we are built up and made perfect in love. Behind every vision, behind every mission, is a group of people, is a team of people that they stop simply consuming and they begin to contribute and they take ownership. When it's your home, it's your home. You care what happens. Jesus even had a group of people, his team, the disciples, that they had to take ownership on what was doing. They had to use their gifts and their talents, and Jesus was discipling them. And so part of that being discipled was this, is that they went out and they served and they helped and they ministered and they prayed with people and all these different things. And when he left, they continued the vision on. Because it takes more than just one to get the job done. And so I want to share with you a few needs that we want to do in order to accomplish some of these things to get started with making a house a home. There's two things that you need for any vision. One of them is you need people resources, and the second thing is you need financial resources. To start with, the amount of volunteers that we need, that we want to get more involved so that we can do the things in elementary and youth that we want to do, is we need about 4 more people to start serving in our elementary, to minister to our kids. We need about 4 more people for our youth ministry as well. And then for our load-in, load-out team, we need about 4 people. And for our hospitality team, we need about 3 more people. So if you're already serving, if you're already coming, if you're already giving and contributing, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're here and you're not involved in one of those areas, I want to challenge you. We've got one of these cards here. And I'm going to ask that you pray about being a part of one of those to help us make a house a home, whether it's attending consistently, whether it's giving and tithing, or whether it's serving in the church twice a month. Why is this important? Because as a church, I want to reach the next 195 people. And I know that you have friends, and you have family, and you have baristas, and you have cashiers that you see consistently. You have coworkers. That if your life's being changed and transformed here, it's not meant to keep to ourselves. It's not meant to keep the light under a basket. It's meant to invite people into this home so that they can receive what you've received as well. It's my heart and it's my desire that we increase our reach. We want to be able to reach more families, which means more kiddos, which means more people serving, all these different things. Because we need new families when they come into this place to feel at home. That I want people, one of the things I love about this church, and I'm closing now, is this, is that it doesn't matter how much money you make, and it doesn't matter what your background is, whether you're educated or you're uneducated. It doesn't matter what kind of job that you have, white collar, blue collar. It doesn't matter what your background, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, it does not matter. And God has so blessed this place where we have beautiful people from all walks of life that are able to come into this place. And I really believe that one of the missions and the assignments of this church, in addition to the things that I kind of shared about, is this, is that people need to be able to come into this place and see somebody like them. Because there's a lot of great churches around, but a lot of churches are filled with people, with other people that look just like them. And I want anybody from any walk of life to come into this place and feel at home. Because we love them, because we serve them, because we believe they're going to find God in their story, that where they start is not where they finish, that God will bring transformation to their life. No matter what their past is, no matter what they're present in, that God can touch them here in this place, and that they can begin the journey of a new chapter and a new story in their life, and then for their families as well. The incredible thing about, like the story I shared about Rod a little bit earlier, is he's got a grandson. It's generational whenever we're able to reach the next gen. Whenever we're able to reach the nursery, the preschool, the elementary, the students. That is touching the entire family when people come into this place. They can receive something spiritually that can last a lifetime, that it will last for eternity. And so my challenge to you is commit to something if you're not committed to these things already. Start somewhere, be a part somewhere, be a part of what God is doing in this place. That every single person that makes a decision, you're a part of that harvest. You're a part of that story. When you get to heaven and they get to heaven, you'll be able to shake hands with them. And because you gave here, because you served here, because you prayed for this house, because you were a part of making this place a house and not just a home, they will walk up to you and say, thank you. There's so many of us, whether it was in this place or it was another church or it was a crusade or it was a conference or something, somebody invested into that thing when we made a decision for Christ. And if it wasn't for their time, if it wasn't for their talent, if it wasn't for their treasure, where would we be today? I don't know if I'd be alive still, to be honest with you. That's how far I was going away from God, but there were faithful people that made the decision to invest into my life and into the churches and the youth ministries that I was going to. And now I'm up here today helping reach new people. That's what it's all about. Be a part of somebody else's story. Help make this house a home. One of the things I want to encourage you to do is the cost to be able to do some of these new things is about $7,500. And so we're going to have a thing set up on our giving when you go to our website. We're just calling it Project Giving. If you want to give towards that, as we get enough money accumulated, we'll begin to buy some of these things and roll some of these things out. Most likely we'll start with the elementary and get them started first and take care of our kiddos and all that good stuff. But you all are so incredible and have been so incredibly generous up to this point. Our Kicks outreach that we just did, you know, we started with 50 and we were like, I don't know if we're going to get 50 people giving $50 for gift cards. And we got to the end of it where we stopped mentioning it. We still kind of left it on the website, though. Honestly, I just forgot to take it off. And we got to around 40 gift cards. We brought them to the school. They're just thrilled about it. Over the next 2 weeks, we were able to hit that 50. So you guys are incredible. So give it up for it. We get to do awesome stuff like that together when we make a house a home. And I think that us being here and making this place a home probably has a direct connection spiritually to investing into these lives of these students and the staff here at Wood. And so I'm honored to be able to be a part of it. I'm honored that you're along the journey with me too. Let's bow our heads. Father, we come before you today. We thank you for allowing us to be a part of other people's stories. Thank you for using us. Thank you for counting us worthy to be a part of seeing other people come into your kingdom. Lord, thank you for using every dollar that we've given, every hour that we've invested, Lord, every service that we've attended. Father, I thank you for those that are here and been so faithful. I thank you that you promise us in your word that you reward those who are faithful, that they abound with many blessings. And so, Father, I thank you for just blessing on top of blessing for their lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.